It's Purp back with another episode of the Purp Show. This is the Purp Show Season 3, Episode 9. Welcome, y'all. And if you are watching the replay, I would appreciate if you hit that like button and share whatever thoughts you have in the comments below. For the people that are watching live, salute, welcome. Super chats are available amongst other things. I got a couple guests with me. This is going to be a short show tonight. It's probably going to go like an hour and a half. We'll see how quickly we go through these topics because I got to go watch Snowfall, the season finale. Let me go bring in Terrence real quick. What up, Terrence? Landon, what's
Purp.
up? K Dot, I see you. What up? What up? What up? How you been, bro?
I'm okay. How you been?
I'm chilling, chilling. Yeah, I was like, I'm glad that Terrence is here because definitely gonna be talking about that Shang-Chi trailer when we get to it.
All right. All right.
You know more about that character than me, so
Yeah. 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 We'll get on that whenever you want to tackle it. I like that character.
all right, all right. But yeah, you sound a little bit choppy. Maybe hop in and hop back out.
All right. How do I sound now?
All right, all right. What up, Virgo? Dante?
Yeah, I'm
Tony?
coming in clear now. Purple.
Nah, it's still kind of choppy.
Still kind of choppy. Okay. Let me hop out and see if it does anything, and then come back.
All right. Yeah. So yeah, like I said, short show. But we got some things to talk about. Wait for K Dot to get up here. Let me see. We're gonna get into it. Yeah, man. How's everybody doing? How's everybody's 420? I know. There has to be some potheads in the chat. You know what I'm saying? I definitely was getting litty. Yo,
Yeah. How we doing now?
it's still choppy, but I'll deal with it.
Damn. That's weird.
Are you on Wi-Fi or you?
Yeah. I'm on Wi-Fi.
Oh,
Yeah. Yeah. But how's it sound now? Because sometimes it's like it'll be fine, and then random times like I might be chipping in and out, but most of the time it works, so it's not really an issue most of the time.
mm,
Yep.
you all right? Yeah,
Yeah.
you all right? It's cool.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Yeah. As long as you can make out what I'm saying, then we good. Because otherwise,
Right, right. Big bro, salute, salute.
but yeah, I appreciate you having me on, Perp.
Yeah, no problem, no problem. You know what I'm saying? Definitely had to get you on this because, like, I don't know a damn thing about Shang-Chi. All I know is these martial arts and stuff. But we'll get to that when we get around to it. Got a
All
few
right.
things.
Cool. Cool.
Just making sure I
And
got everything.
how's your week been?
It's been good. One of the better weeks in a while.
Okay. Okay. That's that's good to hear. I mean, a lot of a lot of bad stuff is happening on this planet, so it is good to hear something positive, good news.
Right, right. You got wired headphones or are you wireless?
No, I'm just like on the phone itself. Like I could plug in my headphones, but I tend to do that like if I'm like moving around because right now I'm stationary.
Mm.
Um, I mean, did you want me to plug in my headphones or?
Yeah, see if that works. See if that'll help.
Okay, all right, yeah, 1 second. Grab
Okay,
these
now where you at,
headphones.
bruh? Pop up. Yeah, man. Enjoying my 420. Get Dot up in here. What up, man?
Terrence, Purp, what up? What up, Terrence?
What's up?
What up? What up?
Okay, how do I sound now?
Uh, it's still a little staticky, but it's a little bit better. We
Okay.
deal with it though. I'm run with it. It's cool. Adam, what's up? What's up? Yeah, man. Yeah, man. So how you doing, Dot?
I'm doing good. I'm doing good. Had to come in, show some love to the Perp Show, say what's up, and she and talk. Come talk these topics.
Doing Dot?
I'm doing good. I actually watched that Mortal Kombat Scorpion's Revenge today. That shit was fire.
Yeah, it's cool.
It was cool though.
I
I mean, I didn't
I have
like the
my
fact
issues
that
with
Luke
it.
Kang got waxed by Goro, but it is what it is.
Yeah.
You know, Luke Kane is trash, bro. I need people to
Man, Luke
realize
ain't
something.
trash, bro.
Luke Kane
He
is
was just
trash,
tired,
bro.
Perf. He was
You,
just tired, bro. He wasn't feeling
you,
it.
Luke Kane is
yeah, I
trash,
saw
bro. People,
I saw that movie when it first came out, Perp and came out, and in that movie I felt like Liu Kang was kind of taking the back seat just to let the other characters shine because from a MK lore perspective, he is one of the best characters. So whenever I see him, getting dealt with or other characters shining over him, I'm like, okay, I see how they're writing it. So, they wanted Scorpion to shine the best in that movie. That's what I got from it.
Yeah, yeah. It wasn't really a Mortal Kombat focused story in the traditional sense, like Johnny, Sonya, and Lou leading Earth Realm fighters. They touched upon it, but they glossed over it to focus on Scorpion. Which Scorpion, he had a pretty nice arc in it. They didn't really Sub Zero didn't really do much in it. You really didn't get no resolution between Sub Zero and Scorpion. But I most likely when they do the
Right.
sequel, Scorpion will get resolution with Sub Zero's brother, who is supposed to take up the mantle after him, right? Right after Bihan.
Yeah.
So
Right.
you maybe you'll get some resolution through that.
we'll get into that because that's definitely one of the things I wanted to talk about, like our speculations of what to expect from the movie and whatnot. But got
Oh,
some little tidbits to talk about before I get to like the main things and whatnot. Go ahead,
Perp,
Terrence.
I should let you know that I was fortunate enough to see it in a special screening, so I've already seen the film.
Okay, no spoilers. Keep that to
Yeah. Oh,
yourself.
no. Yeah, yeah. No worries. But I did enjoy it, so I'll put that out there.
Word. All right, so let's get into the little tidbits. Like what I like to call fully loaded. Yeah, so I found a bunch of random stuff. I was like, I got the main stuff I want to talk about, but there's some other things that just popped up today that, or like throughout the week, that were interesting. First one, get out the way. In light of it being 420 yesterday, you know what I'm saying. This is actually recent news. It's not too old, not too new, really. But Steve Urkel, the guy that plays Steve Urkel, I forget his fucking name, but he's coming out with his own weed strain called Purple Urkel, which is hilarious because I feel like that already existed. But shouts to that brother for making his own strain. That's what I always wanted to do. Make my own weed strain and stuff and whatnot. But
You want to know what Jaleel White looks like?
Jaleel White, that's right, yeah,
This guy looks like the type of people that you don't expect to smoke weed, but he smokes it because he gets really stressed all the time.
right,
He doesn't look like he smokes
Um,
it, but it looks like he smokes it because he gets stressed all the time.
exactly.
well, I mean, yeah, I don't smoke any weed or anything, but I definitely have a lot of friends that I would imagine they would be very interested in trying this type of weed.
Yeah, I would definitely. Yeah, I heard about that. We ain't gonna talk about that. It is what it is. The ball. He did some foul shit to children and stuff. Not Urkel. I'm talking about this dude that Lynn is talking about. He's a YouTuber. And god damn, that's a loud ass fucking. Wait for that shit to pass over.
What's happening with foul stuff with children? Yep.
No,
Right
no,
now?
no, 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 no. But this guy, whatever, that Landon's talking about, this YouTuber, he was caught doing, he got kind of exposed, doing some naughty things, and
Oh, he's done. He's
yeah,
done.
it's a wrap. It's a wrap for
They
him.
they caught that man in what 8K.
Yeah,
They caught his ass in 8K. And look, it was kind of expect. This is the thing. I'm not. That dude was genuinely. He was funny. He still is. But it's like, it was kind of expected. I felt like, you can just feel like he would do some shit like that. Because I joke about some weird shit. I do, but I don't do all the weird shit I joke about. Like he does the weird shit that he jokes about. Yeah.
he's about that life.
Yeah, he was about that life. I think it was some 13-year-old girl he was trying to get at, and they kind of find out it was another big old chubby ass dude scamming him. Well, and the thing is, EDP 445 is wrong for what he did. That ain't right at all. Him trying to hook up with a minor, but I was just tripping off the fact that the dudes that scammed him was literally like pretending to be a girl and shit. And he's over there
Right.
sending
That's
like
how they get
kissy
you.
faces. They're sending kissy faces and emojis and stuff to each other. It's like, damn, these both like some two overweight dudes hitting each other up. I was like, oh my
Yeah,
gosh.
that's nasty. But yeah, like it is what it is with him. He gonna get
Wow.
what's coming to him. But shouts to Jalil White to like making his own weed strand, making big moves.
So
That's big. Even though he should have probably done that like years ago, but I feel like with that stuff, it kind of takes time to kind of get that shit going. Yeah, that's the first thing I wanted to kind of throw out there. The next one is really interesting, and I'm pretty sure everybody on the panel here has seen this show. Um, Cobra Kai season 4 is
yeah,
supposedly
I saw.
coming out. It's supposed to be coming out
Yeah.
by the end of this year. Which I don't know how y'all feel about this, or if you think it's too soon, or because I understand why they would want it to come out like at the end of this year because they got a bunch of other stuff they got to get to, like Stranger Things 4 and like season 3 and all this other stuff for like 2022 and stuff. So
I think
um
I'll be honest, I think it's okay for them to rush to get this out this quick. Because the last season may be the shortest because it's like the tournament, it's the official final tournament to determine which school gets to stay. And that's where pretty much the show is going to end. So, to be honest, they probably could have, depending on I don't know how short the season will be, they probably could have just made season 3 longer and concluded everything in season 3, doing the tournament,
well
the struggle. But I'm okay with them
Um,
releasing it this soon because I think for this
well what
that they're about to do, you should release it pretty soon and not
well
wait.
I think what it is like because season 3 was already shot and done, they just had to release it, so they probably was already
Yeah, probably already
like
shot.
really working on pretty much got everything done. They just needed to shoot things for season 4 and stuff. But what were you gonna say, Terry? Oh, before I get to you, Terrence. Shouts to Oliver Queen. Finally made it to a stream. Salute, bro. Salute, Ashley.
so
You gonna say something, Terrence?
yeah, so the humans that work on that show said that it's gonna go beyond season 4. That's number one. Number two, they said that season 4 is gonna be 10 episodes, so that's like I guess the standard number of episodes that they did with the other seasons,
Right.
and that uh, the different actors that work on the show, they were talking about it, and they said that the shooting schedule is very much planned in terms of how often they train when they shoot the scenes. So, from my perspective, knowing that information, I don't think that the season was rushed at all. I think it went exactly how they planned it to be. And like while they're working on it, whenever they're shooting the episodes, the writers are also working on stuff so that way it can be a continuous moving train because the show is extremely popular, and in which case you have like over For season three, you had over 80 million households watching when the show dropped
Yep.
mid-season. So with that many humans watching, they want to make sure that they can consistently give them what they're craving. So they got a really good team there. So I don't think we have anything to worry about.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. But yeah, man, I'm excited for season 4. And Revis, if you have not watched Cobra Kai, just go watch it. Don't don't even listen to my critiques of it or anybody else's. Just go watch it for yourself. Because I feel like people that just go into it blindly end up really enjoying it. And
Hmm. Hmm.
that's still a huge grab for Netflix as a whole, because Cobra Kai is definitely one of those top shows. To some people it might not seem like that because they're not in that realm where they don't really follow it through like social media and all that shit and whatnot. But that shit is it's a powerhouse, most definitely. But yeah, man, I'm looking forward to season 4. What else we got here?
Oh, yeah. If I may, I wanted to add too that being able to take something old school and as precious as the Karate Kid film franchise and find a way to modernize it while keeping the things that made the fans enjoy the franchise is very special. And then you have to also take in consideration that um, before Cobra Kai, you didn't really have any martial art shows that were successful. You had Into the
Right.
Badlands for a little bit, that fell off. You have Warrior, fortunately, got renewed for season three on HBO Max, the one that's based on Bruce Lee's writings.
Yeah.
So,
Hold on. And if you haven't watched Warrior and you got HBO Max, you need to watch that. You gotta watch that
mhm,
too, K Dot. You gotta catch up for season 3.
yeah, that show is just when it comes to the fighting,
I'll
it's
check it
phenomenal.
out.
Because for me, Perp and K Dot, like me being a martial artist, like there's just a certain way that I look at like fight scenes and stuff. Like I'm not an expert by any means on fight choreography, but there's certain like movements and the speed and the practicality of the techniques that I'm able to pick up on. In which case, when I see like a show or movie, it allows me to immerse myself in that material more if the fight choreography is on point. So I think that Cobra Kai, it is much more popular than Warrior. But the point is that you have Cobra Kai and you have Warrior. You don't have any other martial arts shows that are in the public eye
Yeah.
to the
I
degree of
think
those two shows.
I think by by the time season 3 of the Warrior comes out, it's gonna be a lot bigger. Even it just being on
Hmm.
HBO Max kind of got a bigger audience now. You know.
I agree with that 100% because I've already
What
noticed
up,
too,
Leo?
Perk, that that it's kind of picked up in popularity, and then I've seen that humans they went and watched seasons one and two, like and you see stuff like I didn't know about this, and how did this
Right, right,
escape my radar? So that's good because then that means that there's a high chance that it can continue beyond that third season, and I love that because I love I grew up with the martial arts film genre, but it's like there's so much fighting and everything, even when stuff is not centered around martial arts, that a lot of the average viewers they kind of feel like, well, we see fighting all the time, so you have to do something that stands out. And I think that like a Cobra
right,
Kai or a Warrior is what stands out.
right. Let me get to Leo's question. How is Snowfall? Snowfall's good. It's more of a realistic kind of crime drama. Like you could compare it to like The Wire or yeah, it's kind of like The Wire a little bit, but it's like takes place in the 80s. It's about like how crack blew up. It's nobody really knows exactly how crack blew up, but like it's just like an exaggeration kind of, but it's still based off of real events like the CIA getting involved and all that shit. And yeah, it's definitely worth watching if you got Hulu and stuff. Just checking it out. Um, if you like those types of shows and whatnot. Um, yeah. But yeah, K Dot, you should definitely watch Warrior because it takes place in San Francisco.
Yeah, I'll check it out. Is it a wait? Is it a show that was created on another network or HBO original show?
It originally was on Cinemax, but now it's like on HBO Max now.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
because
Because recently, HBO Max got another Cinemax property, Banshee.
Yeah, they
So
got Banshee and they got what was the other one called? Nick, the Nick
yeah,
or something like
they
that. I forget.
they
Yeah,
Cinemax said that they had stopped doing so much of the original programming, so that's why Warrior and a few other ones had got the axe initially. But to their surprise, the and even to my surprise to some degree, the fan base for Warrior is big because like once the word got out that it was centered around what Bruce Lee tried to do back in the day but couldn't due to racism, then they just a lot of humans they jumped all over it. I'm like that's good. Like you should
right, right.
respect something that comes from Bruce Lee's mind.
What up, Dinosaur? Salute, salute. So this next thing I wanted to talk about is we're getting a trailer for The Conjuring 3 or The Conjuring The Devil Made Me Do It. These are like the first little images that they put out. And I'm kind of liking this tone, even though this is going to be, I think this is the first movie that James Wan isn't going to be directing. So that's kind of going to be interesting. I like this picture to your bottom left. It kind of reminds me of The Exorcist, if anybody's ever seen The Exorcist.
Yeah, I agree.
But it kind of I don't know because I heard many different things about at least the story and what this could possibly be about. Like they're going to possibly introduce werewolves or something like that, or it's just like this guy is. I think it's based off of like most of these stories are based off of real cases and stuff that actually happened and stuff. But that's what kind of makes it fascinating to kind of watch. If you're a horror fan, to kind of get like to get some of these backstories on stuff that actually happened in real life. Um, yeah, man, I'm excited for this. I don't know if there's a lot of people out there that like the Conjuring universe. I personally do. I like the main movies. The spin-offs are like okay. They're not like they got some pretty bad ones. Like the first Annabelle that was god awful. The second one was dope. The Nun was kind of fun,
Mhm.
but I understand people's critiques of it. I didn't see what's I forget the other one was called.
The Curse of La Llorona.
Yeah. I didn't see that one. I didn't even know that
Okay.
was supposed to be connected, but
Well, I've seen all the films in the Conjuring universe. Like you got the three Annabelle films. You got the two Conjuring ones, and you got the Nun and the Curse of La Llorona, and so on. So, like, to me, the Conjuring 1 and 2 are like the prime of that universe, and then the spin-offs are okay to mediocre, but they do have some qualities that when you see like the house for the main characters that are part of the Conjuring movies, when you
yeah,
see that when you go into their basement, there's all these objects. I think that that was supposed to let us know that is each one of those objects is like a potential movie that they could do, and taken from when they say real life events, like it's always loose because when you look into it, it's nowhere near as cool or exciting as the movie because their
hmm
job is to amp it up to get people interested and get humans scared because
like 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 the like the Annabelle doll that they have in the movies is nothing like the real Annabelle doll they have locked up
right,
in that
right,
case.
right. That's actually a perfect example, right? Like even if you like want to go back to the old school horror with the Texas Chainsaw Massacre, Ed Gein. They made a movie called Ed Gein, which is actually, what happened and not so much the exaggeration of those Texas Chainsaw Massacre films. So it's interesting when they, let you know that it's based on something real, but then they've added all this extra stuff to soup it up.
Right, right. So, Kata, you gonna be watching this? I know you're a big horror fan.
Um, I like searching horror stuff. I'm not too big into like the spirits and ghosts and stuff. It's not that they scare me. It's just like I'm more into like creature flicks. Actually like creatures and stuff. Not ghosts and spirits are creatures in a sense, but
Hmm.
they don't they don't pull my interest as much. Not like they used to. Like I kind of just laugh at ghosts now and shit.
Yeah,
They
you
don't.
just haven't seen the right ones because there's definitely some modern ones that are fucked up. that literally
Yeah,
would
I
scare the
mean,
shit out of you.
I think the last like ghostly spirit related film I seen was Mother, which I liked, but that was like the last one I seen. I watched it like
Yeah,
recently,
I
like
recently
2 years
watched that
back.
show on I watched that show Amazon Prime, whatever. Them. It's very controversial, but I like how they utilize the scares and stuff in there, similar to how like James Wan did the first Conjuring, where he didn't rely on like a lot of cheap ass jump scares. There's a lot of stuff like there'd be like certain scenes where it'll pan to a dark
Mm.
ass corner. There's nothing there. There's literally nothing there, but it's just like your imagination like kind of plays tricks with you and stuff and whatnot. So
Yeah.
that's what I kind of like
Well,
about the Conjuring movies and stuff like that.
well, a few things. First, I did see the trailer for them, and my interest was not there because I came off of Lovecraft Country, and I really liked
Hmm.
that show. So I was like, this again. So I just kind of went to other stuff, but I'm not gonna like really speak on the quality of something that I haven't seen. But I do find it interesting that after Jordan Peele did his thing with like black trauma movies, that you got all these different things like properties
Yeah,
coming out trying to do the same thing.
it's it's definitely like when you watch a trailer, you're definitely gonna be like, oh, this looks like a us rip off and whatnot. But like as you watch it,
Mm-hmm.
you're like, yo, this is actually. I feel like just because it's episodic or just like you got like 10 episodes, they can play around with
Mm-hmm.
different things compared to a whole like 2 hour movie. There is a supernatural aspect to it, but you don't see that until like later on, which kind of like brings everything full circle. You have to go kind of go through it, and it's very graphic. I told people that in my review that like it's not going to be for everybody and stuff, but I feel like that's what horror is at its core. It's always traumatic. It's always somebody going through a traumatic experience. Like it could just be from anything from like just a dude on Halloween that stalks his sister and stuff and wants to kill her and just what I'm saying, that's traumatic, or um the stuff that happens to Andy, whatever, in the Child's Play movies, that's traumatic. Everything's based off trauma when you're dealing with horror, whether it's psychological or, spiritual, you know.
Mm-hmm.
That's just what it is at its core. And I think it nailed
Right.
that that aspect to the T. But I understand that people don't like the trauma based like black trauma stuff and whatnot. But it's just like it's interesting to me that you know people wouldn't be interested in that, but they like Saw or because they have this really graphic scene called the Cat in the Bag. Really fucking graphic. Really
Mm.
fucking graphic. That shit will make your stomach turn. Because I felt when I was watching that, I felt the same way when I felt like when I was watching the Red Wedding on Game of Thrones, where you see the pregnant chick get stabbed up and stuff, and it's just like people could watch that. That's completely fine, but see a cat in the bag, people freak out
Well,
and stuff. It's kind of weird to me.
well,
But
well, well, I mean, well, I have to say this then because for me, when I was a kid, 6, older, 8, 10, so on, like I watched a lot of horror movies with my cousins. Like almost every other weekend when we weren't playing video games or watching martial arts or action-based movies, we were watching horror franchises. The VHS tapes and like, it'd be like Michael Myers one weekend, then Jason, then Freddy, then Pinhead from the Hellraiser movies, the Leprechaun stuff. Like we went through all of those. Candyman, you name it. We went through all of them, and I was never afraid of any of that stuff because the way that I was raised is that like, you know, the stuff is fake and they can't hurt you. So whenever I saw something, it never bothered me. In fact, like I always found it to be entertaining, which, you know, to my cousin's surprise and even my family, they were like, at first, they were slightly concerned, like, damn, you're like really enjoying this stuff, Terrence. And I'm like, well, it's meant to be entertaining, you know, so that's first and foremost. But like when it comes to these horror movies, it doesn't matter to me whether it's, you know, Black Trauma or Michael Myers or The Spirit of the Day or whatever. Like, I feel like I can like anything that they do in terms of whatever creature, whatever they want to tackle, as long as the story is executed well. So you're not going to really get anything, at least that I've seen, and I've seen so much stuff that like is gonna like turn me away. Like I can see stuff and go, oh, that's pretty fucked up right there, but I'm not going to necessarily have the reaction of like say some of my friends where we're sitting and we see a trailer and we're watching the TV, they'll try to get the remote and turn it because they get so afraid. Like you ain't gonna get that shit from me.
Like, like, you know, I've seen, like I said, yeah, you make a good point. Like, I've seen way more effed up things in horror movies. Like, if you've seen a Serbian film, that's pretty much like the brim or like the top of the line, like weirdo, sadistic
Audition
type
was
of
crazy.
horror. Yeah, I'm like, bro, this type of shit just be like, yo, how the hell did somebody sign off on this? But you know, um, that's just what I wanted to talk about with the Conjuring 3, or the Conjuring, the Devil Made Me Do It, which I kind of like that title. It's coming out June 4th. I'll definitely have a review up once that comes out on HBO Max. Looking forward to it. Um,
Oh, me
Next thing
too,
I
Purp. Yeah.
saw, you saw what?
No, I said me too. I'm definitely excited for it.
All right, where. Next little tidbit I wanted to talk about before we get to the main stuff I wanted to talk about. I completely forgot that they were doing this, but a live action Fairly Odd Parents is coming in 2022 and starting to film this summer. And I should have put the article in the description so people could check it out for themselves. But I kind of give you they didn't give out any like story beats or anything like that. They just said like there's going to be some new cast of characters around the more familiar ones that we know of. So
Oh hell
who's
nah.
who's to say that the main character is even going to be Timmy? It could just be a whole new character.
They might do the thing that they did in the later. I'm not sure if Fairly Odd Parents is still ongoing. It could be. I don't know. I don't watch it no more. Not saying it got bad, but when they introduced this new girl and she lived like right around the corner. She was like Timmy's neighbor, and out of nowhere she got ownership of Timmy's fairies too. So her fairies, so his Timmy's fairies can make wishes for this girl when you know it's exclusive to every godchild gets their exclusive godparents. And I was like, all right, now they're doing too much. They're messing with the rules too much now. I mean,
Right.
I mean, yeah, I seen the live action movie of the Fairly Odd Parents program. I'm not sure if you remember that
I
with
ain't never
Drake Bell.
watched that shit. Watch that shit a day of my
Hey,
life.
right,
I don't even
Perp,
think I was aware that they did that. I don't think I was aware that they did that. If so, I forgot.
Perp, Perp. You guys, Terrence Perp. I'm gonna tell y'all this. The live action one, it was a Nickelodeon original movie. It's like low budget and stuff. Drake Bell, the guy who played Drake and Josh, was literally playing Timmy. This dude would look like he was like 25 something years old, still in elementary school, bro. He was still in elementary school. He didn't. He's still in the same grade.
I'm actually surprised that this isn't on like the CW or something like that, but it's gonna be for Paramount Plus. So maybe
Well, I
they
mean,
might go.
it is a Nickelodeon property, so it makes sense to go to Paramount Plus.
But now with that means that they could possibly do a little bit more edgier, Fairly Odd Parents. You know, make it more. I don't know what the term I'm looking for, but
Um, I, you know what? Honestly, Perf, I'm not like I don't care about it at the moment. Like when I was a kid, I used to watch it, but I have like vague memories of it. And it's like a trailer could maybe get me excited to at least, I guess, watch the first two episodes. But like it just at the moment, I feel like it doesn't
Yeah,
capture my interest. Yeah.
right, right. But like I've after watching, like I said this before, like after watching this latest "Are You Afraid of the Dark" revival series, I'm like, yo, it's possible for these remakes or reboots or continuations to be good. Even Cobra Kai shows you that. It just depends on who's working on the shit. And if it's in the right hands and they do some interesting things, we'll see where it goes. Because like I didn't expect to like the Mighty Duck show at all. And it's just like it's still kind of weird to me, but I'm enjoying it more than I thought. So
I mean, well, that depends for me with this show. I mean, is it a continuation in live action form,
I
or
think
is it
I
re,
think it's a reboot,
re,
complete reboot.
and
Is it
now if that's
so,
the
so
case,
it's a
now
reboot or just a live action adaptation?
Live action reboot.
Okay.
now the reboot portions where my issues come in with it because literally the one that was about Drake Bell, the live action one, was a continuation in a sense where it came out at. It was just kind of continuing stuff. I mean, this whole thing here, uh, in my opinion, if they was going to do this, they might as well do a continuation of sorts in a live action format. But I'd rather them just keep it animated and they do these changes too, because this show really works animated. It works in that format because because the wacky animations Timmy and them do. When he Crocker when he used to do that freaking spin thing and his freaking back and stuff was transforming and stuff, all those weird
Hmm.
movements. Like you can't get that stuff in live action. You can't get exaggerated movements like you get it with animation in
Yeah.
live action. So you're gonna
Right.
lose some of the humor, the those little like the magic of it. You're gonna lose that stuff with it goes
Um.
live
No pun intended.
It,
action.
it,
Yeah,
it's
no.
it's it's funny because when you said that about him looking like a 25-year-old kid, I immediately thought about Torvald in the Hey Arnold show, like he's just a swole ass kid and shit. Like
Yeah,
and he was in elementary. I was like, hold
Torvald.
on, you are not like I feel like I did know a guy like that in my middle school, but that was middle school. His name was Armando, and he was just like the biggest dude in the school, and it just made no fucking sense. Like, made his backpack look small, like it was a toy or something. I'm like, are you sure? Are you sure you're in the sixth grade, Armando? And Armando
right.
just would have a certain look. I was
That's
like,
funny as
this is
shit.
gonna be a problem if he gets upset.
Yeah, that's funny. But yeah, so it's starting to film this summer, coming in 2022. We'll see what that first trailer looks like. But on to other things.
I mean, hopefully it's not as low budget as the live action movie.
Yeah,
Hopefully,
it's
I mean,
probably definitely gonna have a bigger budget.
yeah, if they're gonna do it, I hope that budget. I'm not saying it needs to be tremendous, but it need to look better than that live action.
So
Did they
I cl-
did they say
I
if it was
clipped.
gonna be serious or not or no?
Nah, nah. But like I said, they could like with it being on Paramount Plus, it won't be on Nickelodeon per se, but like they could still kind of go pretty dark with it or do some more more mature themes. Like I said, like when I watched this most recent "Are You Afraid of the Dark" revival, that's like the darkest thing that Nickelodeon's ever put out on their channel. That shit's really fucked up. But
Yeah, you talking about Are You Afraid of the Dark, right? Because
yeah,
I remember the original one when I was a kid, and even though it was like Nickelodeon's version of Goosebumps, like it was still pretty dark for a kid's show. Like
yeah.
seeing kids die and they come back as ghosts, and like there's just certain things where I was like,
I
um, wow, this is cool.
I'm I'm hoping that the next season that they do is the Ghastly Grinner because they've been teasing that motherfucker for like the last two seasons, and it'd be so cool to just see them, especially with comic book movies being popular. It'd be dope to see the Ghastly Grinner like come back and stuff, and them kind of doing a play off of reboots stuff like that. Um, but anyways, speaking of which, let's get into the main stuff I wanted to talk about. First one, I saw interesting little tidbit that we got for the whole Spider-Man and Sony deal that they're going to do for Disney Plus as far as streaming and stuff goes. So essentially once stuff expires over on Netflix, it's going to
Mhm.
eventually go over to Disney Plus. So that does mean that we're going to get like No Way Home and stuff like that on Netflix, I guess first, and
Yeah,
then Disney Plus.
that's not
If
happening. This deal doesn't happen until like what 2026. This
something
Disney one?
like that.
Yeah, this does happen until 2026, so it's gonna be a while. Not
That's
too long, but it's gonna be a while.
power
Well,
move by Netflix. Power move by Netflix.
Yeah. And then
yeah, the
Netflix was
OG
lucky that they
service.
beat them to it. Netflix was lucky that they beat them to it first to hold these rights.
Well, because I have these Spider-Man films, so whenever I see these announcements about it being on a streaming service, I'm like, well, I guess that's good for humans that have it, and then maybe they don't own the films. But for me, I'm just like, oh, I guess if for whatever reason, if my copies of the movies are lost or destroyed, then I guess I can know that it's on a streaming service or will be anyway. But
True, true.
that's it's interesting, like what kind of deals that they make in advance, and then how much trouble and how much money is involved, and then you just find out all this, and you're like, for me, I've always found it interesting because you have to have these conversations, and then there tends to be catches in these contracts, and then certain
Right.
things that could potentially ruin them. So to me, that usually is more interesting than just hearing that it's going to be on some sort of streaming service.
Yeah, man. That's a really interesting deal though. That's pretty big for Netflix to kind of get the lock those movies down for X amount of time. Um,
Mm-hmm.
to kind of keep people locked into Netflix, but I mean that means a shit ton of content's coming to Disney Plus, but not for like Kate I said, not for a few more years. But I guess that was the trade off. Uh, yeah, interesting stuff there.
Yeah,
So
Disney Plus just gonna have to hold this L right now for not beating Netflix to it first. Netflix gets the first W since they made their claim to the throne already to get these rights. But I still have my Netflix, so I'm all good. I am leeching off of somebody else to get their Disney Plus, so I'm just leeching. But hey, I'm winning regardless. I'm winning
yeah,
both
Like
ways. So I'm good.
speaking of Netflix, though, I'm definitely going to be checking out that new series, Shadow and Bone. I hear really good things about that. It's like a one of those book adaptations. It's based off a book or whatever, but a lot of people are really liking it. A lot of positive reviews out there, so definitely gonna be checking that out because that's probably going to be another big hit for Netflix. We'll see. Maybe that might be their Game of Thrones. Who knows? I don't know. It looks like that
yeah,
type of thing.
Perp. Like I've been asked quite a bit. Terrence, what's your favorite streaming service? I'm like, I don't have one, and then like they kind of get like shocked, and it's because for me, I don't really favor any particular service over another because like my interest tends to be in specific projects and not so much the entire streaming service itself.
Yeah,
So, I mean, do you feel like you have a favorite streaming service or?
I still like Netflix, man, just because it has everything that I want as far as
Mhm.
just original content, original ideas. They got a lot of dope foreign shows on there. It's just like it's a
Yeah,
huge
they
melting
do.
pot. It's a huge melting
Hmm.
pot of content. Like, yeah, a lot of
Right.
people could say like there's so much on there that like you don't even know where to look. But I feel like that's a good thing as well, because like you could just search up Netflix originals and just be lost in them shits for days, or like even months, years, like. And I always say like, yo, like nobody's ever gonna come even close to the amount of content that Netflix has created, like in
Right, right,
these last few years. Like they every year they just stack it up. There's always a new show to watch, or there's always going to be a new hit show. Sometimes there with them taking all those risks, there are risks of cancellations of certain shows and stuff, and that just goes
right.
based off people clicking on it, like and whatnot. But a real second would be HBO Max. That's a no brainer. But Disney Plus, like it's cool, but it's just like they need to start ramping it up with this original content. I feel like after this year, going into like 2022, 2023, that you will start seeing a lot more projects and stuff and content come out from that. Uh I just saw Amazon Prime just crossed over 200 million. So, they're definitely in that conversation with Netflix as far as subscribers go. So, it's gonna be interesting. It's gonna be interesting to see.
Mm-hmm. Yep, I agree.
Yeah, man, Lock and Key is dope. I like Lock and Key. Let's see, all good, K Dot. So let's wait for K Dot to come back. Uh, got like three more things I will talk about. Then we're gonna wrap this up. We got the Falcon and the Winter Soldier finale this weekend, correct?
Yes, yes,
Yeah. So
yeah.
I just wanted to kind of get your expectations, or what do you want, or how what would be a satisfying ending for you? And all before we get into that, before you answer that, what do you think is in that box?
What I think is in that box is um, like a Captain America-esque kind of suit for Sam made by the Wakandans
Mm,
because Sam's character, while he's not a chump or anything, he's not as physically capable as a lot of the members of the Avengers.
Yes.
We have seen him hold his own, but if he goes up against someone that is really, really good at hand-to-hand combat, on top of having powers, he's in a bit of trouble. So like that suit, if that's what I think it is, it being made out of vibranium, it will allow him to take more damage to make it more likely that he can fare better against opponents that he is having some trouble with because of them having the superhuman strength. Despite me seeing that moment where he sat down Carly, he did a jump spinning back kick and he knocked her down. Like that to me, I found that to be impressive because of the fact that he did it and the execution of the kick was so on point that it was strong enough to knock her back despite her strength. So he has the potential, but I think that that's what's in that box is that suit, and it's going to make a difference.
okay, okay.
Yeah.
So how? Hold on. So Terrence, what would be a satisfying ending for you for this series? Like what storyline would you want to see wrapped up with a bow?
Um, Number one, I would like to see not only just him putting on the suit because it's kind of implied that he will, but it's like I want it to be that he puts on the suit and he has officially taken up the mantle, not the whole oh I only did it this one time and then he puts it away and they kind of tease like he's gonna do it again. Like I want it to be a definitive. You've made a decision and we see that, we feel that, and we see him fighting. And it would be nice if they showed Baron Zemo one more time and him trying to put together the Thunderbolts like how he did in the comic books because um, his his inner workings with that team is just so crazy because he basically formed his own Avengers, so to speak. At least that's how he wanted to present it to the public. But it was all a bunch of BS, and he just ended up selling
Now,
all these like things to the black market and all kinds of crazy shit. So I'd like
sh-
to see that kind of setup.
shouts to Leo in the chat, Geekly Goods, because he was talking about it, I think, on his show last night. That I forget who was saying it. He could correct me if I'm wrong, but I feel like somebody on his panel said something about Madam Hydra might be putting together this team and stuff, possibly and whatnot.
That's possible because Baron Zemo's the one that created it, and then
Mm,
you eventually had Red Hulk taking over the Thunderbolts, and that's because they had a problem with Baron Zemo in terms of his ideology. So you could essentially use any one of those characters, and it would make sense. Like you did have Norman Osborn, but I feel like that's not as important as say like him starting the Dark Avengers, for example.
hmm
You know what I mean? Like him being there. So you then you got the whole the U.S. agent John Walker. He's clearly there with the Dark Avengers, and he was even leading that team for a time. So like for me, I would like to see those sorts of things set up. Like I think that would be sick in terms of building up the anticipation and for humans to really be looking forward to whatever is coming next. Like you got to have that
Right,
in you.
right. Hashtag John Walker didn't do anything wrong. But Kate, what's your expectations? How would you like to see this end, or is there a specific character that you want to see wrap up their kind of storyline or something like that? Just give me your thoughts.
What I expect. This is what I want, but I don't think I'm going to get it because Bucky and Falcon seemed pretty, just as ignorant on how they felt about the situation. What I hoped to see, especially in episode 5, that we could have got, but we didn't. Um, I want a moment this episode, hopefully 6, where like Falcon and Bucky, they actually like after they apprehend John. I know they're going to apprehend him and defeat him, but to like admit like we got to apologize for not really giving you a chance, and Falcon admitting that this whole situation is all because of him, everything about the shield being in different possession. I want, I just like how I want John to own up to his mistakes. I want Falcon and Bucky to own up to the fact that they was being douchebags, they was being pricks, they was being a-holes, they was not giving John any real chance to do anything. They pretty much doubted this man from the start. I just want both sides to admit that we both did each other, we both treated each other in a grimy way, and I want to see that type of resolution, and then that type of resolution too. I already know Falcon is going to put on that suit. Will be a Captain America like suit. Hopefully the wings will be like a nanotech wings that just they disappear and then they appear just like Iron Man's tech in Infinity War. Because Black Panther suit is also nanotech and vibranium. Iron Man suit in Infinity War, which is nanotech, but Falcon suit will be vibranium and nanotech, so he's going to get that because he needs it. Because as
That
Karen said
nanotech,
earlier,
that nanotech is OP.
Falcon's a very average.
Whatever.
It just here comes the combat. He's really just average. He's okay, not
Hold,
bad, but he's
hold on, Kate.
okay.
Kate,
Is
you
that is
going?
K cutting out or?
Nah, yeah, Kate, you going
No,
in and out.
because you have a vibranium suit does not help. Because Black Panther
Kate,
has a. Can you hear me?
Kate, nah, you're just
Purp.
going in and out right now.
Okay, I thought it was something on my end. I was like, damn.
Wait.
It's okay.
Okay, can you hear me now? Can you
Yeah,
hear me now?
Yeah.
yeah, you good.
All right, yeah, but Yeah, just because you have a vibranium suit doesn't mean you have like skill. You know, Black Panther has a vibranium suit, but he also has skill with his suit. This suit is just protection, just added armor. That's it. But it'll help him fare better in combat moving forward.
Um, that's actually a great point, Kata, because the thing that a lot of humans have to remember is that vibranium, as powerful as it is in terms of absorbing shock and power, if a person is strong
Yeah,
enough, they can just completely shatter vibranium. We've seen Thanos do that with Cap Shield. Like he broke it like it was an egg. Like get that shit out of here. So that's
shit.
only
He
going to do
remember
so
he
much for
busted
you.
Vision's.
Right. Like your suits or your weapons can only help you so much. Like you need to know how to be very versed in terms of combat. Which Purp and Kate out. I'm gonna go more into what I mean by that once we get to Shang-Chi. So yeah.
True, true. Yeah, so I'm looking forward to the finale. Probably not gonna get to it till later on in the weekend and stuff because I gotta watch a bunch of other stuff in the meantime. Yeah, man. Looking forward to it. But speaking of speculations of another movie that's coming out Friday, say or this weekend is Mortal Kombat. Um, I gotta say my expectations for this movie is kind of like in the middle because either way, like I'm expecting it to be action packed and the story to be kind of mid, but I don't think the story is gonna be as bad or anything as like the original like '90s movies or Annihilation.
Mhm. Yeah.
Um, I know that like people's biggest complaints is Cole Young, which I'm okay with. I'm okay with them just like letting Johnny Cage sit one movie out, because they said if they do a sequel that he's most likely going to pop up in that. I would like to see a scene where you know Sonya Blade is just on the phone with Johnny saying like, "Oh, I can't come, I can't make the trip or something like that. He's busy doing a movie or something like that. That'd be funny." Um, but Kata, I want to start with you though. What's your expectations for this?
Yes. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
I expect for this movie to be fire. I expect Sub Zero to do some savage shit. Just like I saw in those first 7 minutes, I expect for Sub Zero to be a cold and savage motherfucker. So I'm most anticipated for Sub Zero. That's I Sub Zero was
So wait,
too excellent in that trailer.
you seen that first 7 minutes? I actually kind of liked it. It kind of like
After the
it's
first
got me
7 minutes,
excited.
I was like, damn! I didn't think they was on. I didn't think they was gonna make Sub Zero like that tight. Like that dude was just the actor. Whatever he's doing, he has that. The actor they picked, it's his face and stuff. He has that. He has a very sinister, evil like look to him. Like the dude just looks like he's up to something.
He
And that
Yeah,
he
they
he's
kind
he he's
he's in Warrior. He's in Warrior,
yeah
Kata, by the way.
that guy's in Warrior. He's dope in
of,
Warrior as well too. He's one of my favorite characters.
yeah, they that Sub Zero casting perfect because the dude they casted looks like he's crooked, evil, and up to some shit. And what I'm trying to understand, if I'm not sure if they're going to do it like the video game where it's not actually Sub Zero that kills the family, it's like Quan Chi. I'm not sure if that's
That would
going to
be
be the case,
that would
but
be dope.
going off of what I'm seeing, it looks like Sub Zero is full on villain, like he's straight up the bad guy of this story, even though the Scorpion and Sub Zero is not really good people. But in the case of Sub Zero and Scorpion story, you may feel more for Scorpion in this case, but Sub Zero, and I just don't give a fuck. He's still badass. He's still tight. He
Yeah,
still looks
Sub
tired.
Zero is just Scorpion's antagonist,
Yeah,
vice versa.
Mhm.
yeah, because I think Scorpion, just like in Scorpion's Revenge, you're gonna feel more for him, even though you may not want to, but you're gonna feel more for Scorpion than you would Sub-Zero in this case.
Mm.
Yep. Um,
What's your
yeah, you
thoughts on
know.
it, Terrence? Even though I know you've seen the movie, but without spoiling it, like,
Right,
did
right.
it did it did it live up to your expectations?
It did. Now here's what what I constantly tell humans, as I've been saying for years, is that whenever I talk about something, I like to be fair with what I tell someone, about the film. It's not about if they did what I wanted them to do. It's not even always about how accurate it is. It's about how does it work as a film. And as a film, like what I did was is I compared it to the other two, the ones from the 90s, like because the 1995 one for a video game movie, and I emphasis for a video game movie, it was pretty good. But at the same time, that's not saying much because most video game movies are terrible.
Yeah,
So for the 1995 one, it felt like a generic 90s action movie with Mortal Kombat characters where they watered everything down so that way people can take their kids to go see the movie. Like it was nowhere near as violent as the games. So I feel like if you hear some humans say, I prefer the 1995 one, which based on a poll that I put on my channel, I said, what's your favorite Mortal Kombat movie? And most humans out of like 90 something votes said the new one, like overwhelmingly so. Like it wasn't even close to the other two films. So to me, the level of violence and gore that's there is closer to the games. The fight choreography is also better than those other two movies. So I feel like the few that will say something like they prefer the 1995 one will be because of nostalgia. It will be
yeah,
because it has, the characters that they wanted to see. But I saw a lot of characters that I like. I mean, it's only the first movie, right? So you can't expect all the different characters from all the games because I grew up playing the games, right? So the only one I haven't played is like 11 and maybe one other one. So I didn't do like some humans where, they said that they went through the entire game with all the characters. I didn't do that, but I am, versed enough to understand who the characters are and I have an understanding of the lore without being an expert. So for me being a fan of the franchise, I'm like, they did a lot of stuff that I appreciate. And I'm like, I feel 100% at this moment that the sequels are in a position to be better than that first movie, just because of what I saw and what they can do and the potential that's there from an exploration standpoint. Like when you see how many characters are from in the games and all these characters, you can do so much with that. So the door is open, but it just really
right.
depends on you know how how humans feel about it. Like if you already have your mind made up, like Cole Young, right? You just mentioned him. He's not he's not from the games. Um, After having seen the movie, I'm in the middle about his character. It's like, eh, like if I made the movie Purp, right? Like I wouldn't have. There'd be no Cole Young, right? That I feel like that's an easy thing to say. Like there'd be no damn Cole Young. But at the same time, like I said before seeing the movie, you have to make it make sense. Like, is there a narrative reason for him being there? And once you see it and you see all this stuff, then you have to make your own mind up. Do you like the character? Do you like why he's there? Do you like their explanation? Or are you just already going to hate it because he's not from the game? So that's the kind of way of thinking that I don't do. Of course, I don't want him to be there, but I'm here to tell you, Per, I didn't hate that he was there. I just don't care
Hmm.
about him in that way, But it in
Right,
no
that's fair.
way, it in no way ruined the movie. Like, if to me, if you take him out of the movie, to me, it doesn't like it can change, but I feel like there's so much stuff in there that I like. It just really doesn't matter, at least from my perspective, that he's there because it doesn't take away. Like, you're gonna have some humans say, "Well, he's there, so the whole movie is bad." And I'm like, that's not really fair to do that. And I'm like, because there's other things in there that, as an MK fan, that I don't see how you can not like certain things. You guys said that you saw the first 7 minutes, I'm like, both of you said that you enjoyed it, so I'm like, well, there's no reason to why you're just not gonna like the rest of the movie. I could be wrong, but I feel like you might you might be like myself where you find more good than bad. It's not perfect. It's still a
Yeah,
video game movie, but I think from a narrative standpoint, they did more with it than those other Mortal Kombat films, regardless of how inaccurate or this and that. I'm like, the nature of the storytelling to me is more sophisticated than those movies from the 90s. But that's just my opinion.
that's what's up. That's up. Yeah, so next week we'll do a whole spoiler review live discussion. So be on the lookout for that. Um, Going to the last topic before we close things up, because I want to get into the snowfall. We're waiting.
Yeah.
Uh,
Team
Oh,
Sub Zero. Team Sub
oh,
Zero. Say Team Sub
a quick,
Zero.
quick, quick question, Perp and K Dot. So, um, did you guys like play a lot of the games, or are you guys on MK games and stuff?
I
I'm playing
played
when I can.
the games. I
Uh,
didn't play all the games, but I played Deception, Armageddon, 10, 9,
Mm-hmm.
and Shaolin Monks. Those are the only games I played.
That's I think that's about half. And then what about you, Perp?
can't remember them all, but I've played all the OG ones. Of course, 1 through 3.
Mhm. Right,
Deadly Alliance was probably like my favorite.
right.
Um,
Let me see. Yeah. So see, you've already named a lot already. Like both of you have named like at least half the games, and then like I said with me, aside from 11, there might be one other one, but I feel like because you guys played enough of the games, like I don't see either one of you or anyone else for that matter being confused about what's being presented. Like they don't treat you like you're stupid, but it's like if you have some familiarity with the games, like even if you only played one of them, like you'll be fine watching the movie. Like
You have a
you'll be
good
fine.
grasp of what's going on ahead of
yeah,
time.
Exactly.
I
Yeah.
think that's good though. As long as it's transparent and stuff, and they don't try to do too much, then
Hmm.
it has to do good enough for them to make a sequel. That's all that matters.
Right. And luckily it's low budget too, so they're in a
Yeah,
position to make profit. So that's a good thing. And also real quick too, Perp, that at the time, like I think it was a couple of days ago where it was at 57%. Now I don't care about like critics ratings and stuff, but it was at 57%, and then when I checked some hours ago, it bumped up to 63%. So, but my thing is that like when you look at the ratings for these MK films, even the 90s ones, the scores are really low. They're very low. So I don't want either one of you to necessarily like use like a percentage score like
yeah. I
before
never
you see
do. I
the
don't.
movie to
I
go
I
ahead.
never
I don't do
understood people that
percentage.
do that. I never understood people that do that. Like, I don't care about no Rotten Tomatoes and stuff like. Because at the end of the day, the only opinion that matters is your own. Like when you go see it, so it's just like, is what it is.
Right, right.
But yeah, we're definitely gonna have a spoiler discussion next week. You know what I'm saying? I'll put like a non-spoiler review up. Uh, this Friday. Yeah, I'll put up like a non-spoiler, then spoiler discussion next week. So it gives some people some time to watch the movie and stuff and kind of digest it. But let's get into the last topic I wanted to talk about. And Marvel kind of dropped this out of nowhere. I was not expecting this. I was actually expecting Eternals, but I feel like they're waiting for certain things to put out that trailer. Shang-Chi or Shang-Chi, however you want to pronounce it. Um, Legend of the Ten Rings.
Yeah.
I gotta say my first reactions of this trailer was like, damn, this is kind of not what I expected, but what I kind of expected. I kind of expect now going into it, I do feel like it's going to be a lot of humor in it. I hope I'm wrong and it's kind of 50-50, or like 25% humor in this, and it's just a little bit more serious. Like all the jokey shit is where he's not like in his village or wherever the fuck around his peoples.
Yeah,
But I did get the vibes that I got from the trailer is like it feels like an old Jackie Chan film
Mhm.
mixed with some Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon effects and stuff like that. It just kind of remind me of like what is it? What was that movie? Memories of a Geisha or
Yeah,
some shit
yeah.
like that.
Memoirs of a Geisha. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, it reminds me. It gives me like I'm getting a lot of those vibes from this trailer and stuff, and definitely I see people already making that comparison. That's like yeah, Black Panther or something like that. Like it has that tone, but it definitely there's no denying that this is like when you watch it, you're like, yeah, this is still an MCU film. It definitely has that formula on top of it. But I feel like it felt something new for once. Like we were watching one of these Marvel trailers, it felt like something. All right, we're finally. This is what Phase 4 is, right? As far as the movies go, and
Hmm.
because Black Widow, that's in the past, so it didn't really feel like we're moving forward. But with this, we're like, all right, we're finally kind of getting the movie side of Phase 4 and stuff. We're seeing Phase 4 like with the shows and everything, but now we're starting to see it with the movies. Terrence, how do you feel about? Well, actually, let me go to K Dot because I know he had some thoughts about this.
Perp, I know how you feel about the tone. I'm worried about that too. But from just going off the trailer, from what I see, the main character, if you notice in that trailer, the main character barely talked. He had a straight face 95% of the trailer. I think just like what you said earlier, when he's like they said, he went into just lived in civilization for 10 years to learn how to live, be away and find himself. But when he goes around his people and stuff, he's going to like a whole mood. His whole tone is going to switch up. He's going to code switch. He's literally when he gets back to his
Cold
people.
switch.
Yes, that's to call it code switching. He's literally going to be serious. He's not going to be acting like no goofy goofball. But I don't think even when he's around his friends and stuff in you know San Francisco and stuff, when he's not around his people, I think he's not going to be no goofball, but he's going to be normal, just normal, how you would just perceive anybody normally in our society and stuff. So the Shang-Chi character, I think he's going to take the role very serious. I think he's not going to be no goofy ass character. I don't want him to be. I don't want him to be too serious, but I don't want him to be definitely be no goofball. We have enough of those type of characters in the MCU. We need some more serious characters, and I think Shang-Chi will be one of them.
Right.
And the only goofy part of that, I mean, not real goofy, but the only joke we seen in there was Aquafina making that comment, which wasn't funny. It was like, okay, God. It wasn't really funny. But other than that, this trailer was lit. That action on point. They did not really show his powers yet or his abilities. I don't know what the hell he can do, but all I know is this: he can fight. Now I don't know his abilities from what the trailer has shown me, but I think when he gets those 10 rings, they will do something to him and give him power. His father's the Mandarin, so it's about to be a story of possible son versus father, or maybe the Mandarin may not actually be a villain. Maybe the Mandarin may be just maybe a strict and dickhead of a father, but he's, not evil in a sense. I'm not sure on the Mandarin because it looks like the Mandarin is his father in this story.
True, true. Terrence.
And, yeah, like Perp said earlier too, huge vibes of not really Jackie Chan movies. I got really just vibes of just Asian directed action films in general. Like the Protector. I got more vibes of the Protector. I was getting some Protector vibes. If y'all remember that film with Tony
Mm-hmm.
Jaa, I was getting
Yeah.
vibes of the Protector, Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon. I didn't, and this is the thing. It's a little thing, and I'm trying to figure out where I seen this shit from. Y'all know that orange jacket he's wearing in that trailer?
Yeah.
I swear, I feel like I seen that jacket in a Jackie Chan movie, and I think Jackie Chan was wearing it. I don't know, but I seen that orange jacket from somewhere. That
Hmm.
it was something about that look.
Um,
That it, I
I
seen
can't,
it on
I
some
can't,
other
I can't
Asian.
pinpoint the jacket at the moment, but
Yeah, it's nothing bad. It's nothing bad, but I seen that shit somewhere in another action film somewhere. I seen that jacket, that pattern. I seen that shit somewhere. I feel like there's a bunch of like Easter eggs to a bunch of other Asian action films, but that trailer, I don't know, had me thinking of a whole bunch of like different Asian action films and stuff when I saw that trailer. But that's a good thing because actually, this film, to be honest, it doesn't feel like it takes place in the MCU. Like out of all the MCU trailers we have gotten, even Black Panther, this movie right here, based off the trailer, does not feel like it exists in the MCU. It literally feels like it exists in some other like mythical fantasy world. It doesn't look like it takes place in a world where Captain America stays at. It looks like it just takes place in a regular world with dragons and all this other mythical stuff. And it's
True.
an Asian story. It does not feel like it takes place in the MCU. This trailer specifically, like I think this is the first time I'm saying that about an MCU film. This does not feel like it takes place in the MCU, which isn't bad. It's a good thing because it's showing that it's not as formulaic as we may think it is.
Hmm. So,
oh,
Terrence, what's your thoughts on this?
so many thoughts. So, starting with the Mandarin, I'm glad that he's there because they ruined him twice in Iron Man 3. That is still a specific title that is for Marvel. I have never seen that shit in my life where you ruin a villain twice in the same movie. And they teased him a couple years ago, and then some years went by, never saw him. So I'm glad he's there. Um, in the comics, Shang-Chi's father is Fu Manchu. So they did a combination of Fu Manchu and the Mandarin. This whole angle of him being the father because Fu Manchu, also a badass in his own right, terrorist, mad scientist sort of thing. So it's interesting that they did that, and I like that. Um, and then from the fighting aspect, I'm like, there's no one else in the MCU that fights as good as Shang-Chi. It's just not a thing. Like, the best hand-to-hand combat scene I've seen was in Captain America: The Winter Soldier, and that was between Steve and Winter Soldier. Nothing else to me was on an excellent level of execution when it comes to hand-to-hand combat because a lot of the stuff that they do is very flashy. Like when Black Widow does the flipping and the Hurricane Ranas and stuff. I'm like, a lot of that stuff, if you go up against someone like Shang-Chi, you get your shit wrecked. Because he has, like, the way that he moves, as they refer to him in Marvel Comics, is the master of Kung Fu. So it's Shang-Chi and Iron Fist that are the best martial artists in the entire Marvel universe. Now, when I say that, that doesn't mean they're the most powerful. It means from a fighting standpoint, they are at the top, and everyone else comes after that. In fact, like before this trailer came out, Purp and K Dot, for the longest time when they made that announcement, I was talking about Shang-Chi and how awesome he is. And then humans just kind of glossed over, like, yeah, we're not really caring, yeah, and all this stuff. I'm like, okay, we'll see if you change that tune when they drop the trailer. Sure enough, a lot of them changed their tune because
Yeah.
to me, I felt like not from everyone, not from all the humans, but from a good portion of them, the lack of interest came because they don't know the character. They don't know the character. So I'm like, okay, you have to be shown something. That's fine. But now a lot of humans are on board. You do have those humans that are out there like Googling everything, acting like they know Shang-Chi. That's kind of irritating. But at the same time, it's good that they have taken interest in him because you are talking about a guy that taught Spider-Man martial arts. He taught him martial arts and he made his own style called the Way of the Spider. You have him teaching Cap and Black Panther martial arts moves too. And this guy is an Avenger. Like in terms of his power, you guys are wondering about that. Like on top of him being able to do all the pressure points, any sort of fighting technique that you could think of, Shang-Chi knows how to do that. So I want you to keep that in mind. But his power, he can duplicate himself. Like, like in Dragon Ball Z, how you got like,
Yeah.
Piccolo and them, how
The
they can make
after
multiple
image.
copies. Yeah, he can do that. And so, to a large degree, those like mirror clones, if you will, they pretty much have the same kind of strength as the original Shang-Chi. So imagine like 10 of those motherfuckers roundhousing you at the same time kind of shit. So he also has like he has a collection of ancient weapons, and one of them is called the Aura Mazda blade, and this blade can kill people like Wolverine and Deadpool, by the way. So this character, him being an Avenger, I feel it's unfortunate that you still have certain humans that are, kind of questioning how good he is. I'm like, he's amazing. Like, you're not going to be on the Avengers if you're a chump, right? That's just not going to
Right.
happen. And he's more than just a sidekick. I don't like. I'm like, he's not just a sidekick. Like, a sidekick doesn't, beat the shit out of Spider-Man and teach him martial arts. Like, you know how good you have to be to just lay Spider-Man out like that. Like, let me show you how to fight, because his spider sense helps him. But again, to go back to what K Dot said, if you don't have the techniques, your spider sense or your armor is only going to do so much for you. You're going to get laid out if you come across somebody that knows what they're doing.
Right.
So, you know, um, from the trailer, I like that it does showcase a lot of different martial arts styles. You got some wushu in there, you got kung fu. The other characters don't fight like that. I've heard humans say, well, you got to see Black Widow. No, you don't. Black Widow is going to have awesome fight scenes, but the way that she fights is going to be what you saw in Iron Man 2. It's going to be like that. Taskmaster, who copies, people's fighting style, he's gonna copy characters that you've seen. There are no characters like Shang-Chi except for Iron Fist, but they need to redo him because that one on Netflix, that's not the way right there. That is,
Right.
he was irritating the shit out of me. Perv. Every time he said, "I am Danny Rand, the immortal Iron Fist," I was like, "Sit down, nigga. You ain't immortal nothing. You get beat up all the time." It was disrespectful. So
How would you feel about
Shang-Chi,
how would you feel if they brought Stephen Amell in for Iron Fist?
that would be dope. Like, cause wow, I didn't even think of that. That's a great one, Per, because Stephen Amell on over the course of the 8 years on Arrow, he really knows how to do fight scenes really well. He does most of his own stunts, so I think he would be a vast improvement over Finn Jones, and he would be more believable as the immortal Iron Fist. And like, you pair him with Simu Liu, the one that's playing Shang-Chi, I feel like the two of them together, you can get Iron Fist's torso lighting up and Shang-Chi getting in his pose. Like, that'd be. Humans think they didn't see some good fight scenes in the MCU, but I feel like this is really on a whole other level, and I feel like
Right.
you really shouldn't be in a position to where, now it's their opinion, but it shouldn't be debated like, well, no, we've seen Shang-Chi. No, you haven't. You both saw that trailer. Nobody was moving like Shang-Chi in those other MCU movies. They don't fight like that, and that's because he had a special training. Because like in the comics, guys, you have these. Remember how you saw the guy in the trailer with the mask, and he was like whipping him, and he was punching the pole.
Yeah.
So like they have these different factions, and each faction is a master of a specific thing. Like, you got the house of nunchucks, the house of the staff, the house of the fist, the house of the feet. And it's like, once you learn all of those, then you become the ultimate badass. It's kind of similar to Danny Rand's in the sense of, Danny Rand, he went to the seven cities of heaven, and you had different monks teaching him different forms of fighting. So it's like that sort of fantastical nature is also unusual in the MCU, because usually these characters that get their training from an organization, they don't have like all these different factions that teach them a specific quality where you specialize in that. Like, imagine, you go to somebody and this person knows everything about what to do with the fist, everything you can think of. That is very different from say you going to someone where they specialize in a lot of things, but there's something dangerous about a person that practices the same movement 1,000 times. I mean, even Bruce Lee said that himself. He's like, I fear not the man that practices 1,000 kicks 1 time, but I fear the man that practices one kick 1,000 times.
Right.
So, like, I am very impressed with the trailer. I feel like there's a lot of hype for it, but you still
Mhm.
have some humans that are like, I'm not sure, and like, just wait till you see the movie. I think even for me, I know a lot about Shang-Chi. There's a couple areas where I don't, but I know enough. And it's like, I think that the movie will even surprise me in some kind of way. I'm even putting myself under the limelight saying that I think if I'm correct about my theories, there's going to be something that happens in there, and we're all going to be talking about it like crazy. Shang-Chi is about to do something like that.
Word. Yeah, and it's like I'm excited for it because we got Black Widow in July, then Shang-Chi, then the Eternals, and then Spider-Man the next one. I feel like Spider-Man's gonna get moved, yo. Somebody's got to move or get pushed
Yeah,
or get delayed. Something's getting delayed.
that's crazy. That's crazy. Per we got so many that one of them got to move. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, that's pretty much all I wanted to talk about tonight. Very short show. Um, they covered everything. Pretty good talk. You know what I'm saying? Got a ton of stuff to get to this weekend as far as
You
content goes. I'm gonna try to knock it
you
all out. Um, I do want to finish after Snowfall. I'm gonna try to bang out the rest of this series called Zero on Netflix. It's kind of like this Italian series that's got it's like a black cast. It's like a super it's a kind of a different take on like a superhero story. It's pretty interesting so far. I'm like 2 episodes in. So like 8 episodes for the first season. So, you know. Um
did you did you guys see that someone like they froze a still of it like because it went by fast, but on one of the cars apparently there's something that was spray painted on it called Fist, and that's supposed to be an Iron Fist Easter egg. What these humans were saying, right?
mm,
I'm like, so would you guys be against Finn Jones coming back? Because like Kevin Feige said that he said the MCU shows are not canon because they were worked on by Jeff Loeb. He had nothing to do with that. And those two hate each other, by the way. Like
mhm.
the Marvel Netflix stuff, Agents of Shield, Cloak and Dagger, Runaways, Hellstrom, that had nothing to do with Kevin Feige. So it's like, but he said he's going to bring back Charlie Cox. We know that. He likes John Bernthal's Punisher. It's like there's, and then Vincent D'Onofrio's Kingpin. So I feel like he's going to bring in some of them, and then he's just going to implement his own storylines for there. So these characters are in a position to be more fantastical because the ones on Netflix is very grounded. Like Daredevil, great show, mistake canceling that. But he was
Right.
very grounded because in the comics, Daredevil will be jumping from like one building to like three different buildings and flipping like 5 times before he lands. Like Kevin Feige is the guy to show individuals that. Like picture what you got with Ben Affleck in a Daredevil movie, but times 10 in terms of what he can do physically. So that would be a way for him to go, see, it's the same actor, but what you thought you were going to get is going to be a little bit different. So I was thinking, like, would you guys be upset if, like, they bring in Finn Jones because he's left a lot of bad taste in the mouths of a lot of humans because of the Iron Fist show? Like, do you feel like you would be upset, or would you want to see a new actor? Or
No, it'd be cool. It'd be cool. As far as the dude that played Iron Fist,
yeah, Finn Jones, yeah,
you could recast him because like he didn't really. Even though I feel like where they were going with season two, it got better. The show was getting better, but I think it was just too late
right,
at that point. So
right,
yeah, I
right.
wouldn't be mad.
I
Yeah, man.
like I personally would get a new actor because like to me the difference between him and like say John Bernthal, Charlie Cox, Kristen Ritter, Mike Coulter, like he didn't really fit his character well on top of terrible writing. So it's not like that actor was so good as the character to where everyone's clamoring for him to come back. You just have humans talking about they want to see the Iron Fist character, not bring Finn Jones back. But if they do, I think it's important, Perp and K Dot, that they make sure that the fight choreographers are on point because they had some bad ones for his show. On top of the writing, man, I'm like, how do you have a character inspired by Bruce Lee, a martial artist ahead of his time, who created his own fighting style, which in a way is what MMA is. I mean, Jeet Kune Do, I studied in that. It's meant for the streets. Like a lot of the techniques that you do in Jeet Kune Do would be illegal in MMA. But the point is that with all that beastness, you mean to tell me that you guys didn't have the fight scenes on point? I feel like that's disrespectful, disgraceful. So when they bring Iron Fist back, I think it's important to show people how good Iron Fist is supposed to be.
Yeah, 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 man. We just got to wait and see. What is it, September 3rd or September 4th or something like that? It's coming out.
Um,
Um,
I think so.
and depending on how the world works, saying, it could possibly get the Disney Plus treatment, but just got to wait and see. But
Oh,
um, y'all got anything coming out soon? Terrence, you got anything coming out?
um, nothing planned. A lot of my stuff is I don't want to say it's random, like 'cause everything that I put on the channel, whatever it is, whether I'm talking about something or there's a specific scene or segment, it's all for a specific reason. But at the moment, the next thing that I'm going to talk about for sure would be, of course, the Falcon and the Winter Soldier finale. But aside from that, I guess nothing planned per se. Um,
For sure.
but just to let these humans know if they're unaware, um, yeah, T Virus Terrence is my channel, and you really do get like everything under the sun over there. In terms of what's there, and I have a lot of things that I organized in the playlist. There's like 107 playlists that are on the channel, thousands of vids. So I just really like to have fun. Like whatever I want to show or talk about, that's what I do. And as long as the human is open, because sometimes humans get mad at the stuff I say, but I like to keep it real, and I feel like keeping it real while having fun is the way to go because if you're not having fun on the platform, I feel like it just can
Yeah,
essentially be looked at as a waste of time.
yeah. We looked at as work. But K Dot, what you got coming, Mister 2K dot? Is he still out?
It,
That's
you
all
think
good.
maybe he's talking and we can't hear him, or
No, no, no. He's probably doing something right now, but it's all good. Um, yeah, man. Make sure y'all subscribe and follow all both these creators, YouTubers. You know what I'm saying? Go follow Chaos channel. Go follow Tennis's channel. Next week I'll be back discussing probably, yeah, Falcon and the Winter Soldier spoilers and Mortal Kombat spoilers and stuff. So, I wanted to keep this show short tonight. Got to go watch Snowfall. If y'all into Snowfall, I am so ready for this finale. I'll have a live discussion this Saturday at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time with Rashad G reviews. So definitely pull up if you are a Snowfall fan. We're gonna dive into season 4 and just talk about it. But till next time, I will see y'all later. You know what I'm saying? Enjoy your weekend. Enjoy the rest of your week. If you got work, school, whatever. You know what I'm saying? know what I'm saying? I hope y'all are doing well. Um, yeah, man. Till next time. I'll see y'all later. Peace.